Right, Bob, so we agreed off camera that we're going to pick your best Brentford 11 of players that you've shared a dressing room with here. So,
Yep.
First of all, what's your Brentford timeline? When did you first get to Jersey Road?
Arrived at Jersey Road 2011 with Uwe Rosler, who was in charge at the time. Mark Warburton was the sporting director. I think that was his title, and had a good time whilst Uwe was manager. When Uwe moved on, Mark became manager. And since then, times have been really good at Brentford. We've been promoted, top 10 finish, playoffs. Premiership is next. So,
Good times. Okay,
good times.
So formation, how are you setting the boys up?
My formation's 4-2-3-1. Nice and a balance of attack and good defenders.
Okay.
So I'm a 4-2-3-1 man.
4-2-3-1. So first up in goal.
Tough. We've got some good keepers. I didn't want to pick too many from our current squad because for me the current squad is arguably the best, but that's an easy choice. But so I've gone through, started with Simon Moore, who was here, Richard Lee, Jack Bonham. But for me, I'd have to go with Mr. David Button. It's kind of reason being that we had a lot of transformation of how the team played from when I first came, and distribution out to the fullbacks or in behind the team. And David's distribution for me was, very good, and he kind of kicked on when he came into goal. No disrespect to the guys that were in the sticks before, but just a personal choice. I would have taken David Button.
And you say in the kind of wider footballing world, he flew under the radar a little bit because he's very consistent.
Yeah, because I think he was at Charlton, and he started his career at Tottenham, so you've got to be good to start in the Premiership, Premiership club. So I think third or fourth choice, he went to Charlton, and like we do our recruitment team, always find a gem. Nicked him from Charlton at a steal, and we made a profit when we sold him. So again, a lot of players we find are under the radar, and you come to Brentford and you unearth a gem and they go on, as is proven.
Okay, so that's your goalkeeper. First up in your back four, go right to left, so go right back.
Okay, so my right back, we've had a couple, but for me, the no-nonsense tackling when he played at right back until he got injured at Bolton is Mr. Alan McCormack. If you're in the trenches, you want Macca in there with you. He was a good voice in the dressing room, really good off pitch with the staff, and he was really good both on and off the pitch. So for me, I'd have Macca in there.
Okay, right back, so your first centre back?
First centre back, I'd go with, maybe not a popular choice with some fans, but Tarki. Tarkowski. He was, I think, when I first saw Tarki play was against, in a B team game when he had a transfer to here, and he made it look so easy. And a lot of the games, it looked like he was taking the mick out of his running out of the back with the ball. Distribution was good and just looked calm under pressure, and was good defensively in the air. So for me, Tarki.
Are you surprised to see his rise? Or is he England international now?
Not really, because when he came, you could see he had the ability to go and play higher, without doubt. So, along with a lot of other guys that have come here. But Tarki doesn't surprise me at all, and he will get a number of England caps going forward.
Okay, so to partner Tarki at centre back.
To partner Tarki at centre back, we've had a good. I was toying between Mr. Dean, a couple of others, but for me, just for his sheer tenacity and the way he defended, was Tony Craig on the left side of the centre. I'll never forget a game against Oldham at home. We had a corner and they broke away, and it was literally 5-on-1, and Tony was the one defender. He tracked back, he blocked the initial shot, it came out again, they had another shot and Tony blocked it, and he did his customary celebratory as if he scored a goal with a good fist pump, which got the crowd going. I think we won the game as well. So again, if you're in trouble, you want Tony Craig. He'll put his head where it hurts. So definitely.
Let's say a bit of a throwback centre half.
Yeah, you need that because it was our first season in the league, and you need some games you're going to have to battle, and you need a good mix of people who are going to put their head in and have a go. And Tony would be first on the list. Really, he was good in the dressing room, really vocal, captain as well. So he was very good, Tony.
Okay, and to complete your back four, left back.
For me, we could have had bidders. Was really good, consistent, always 8 out of 10. But just for me, for the attacking formation that we were playing at the time, he's currently come back to us, who's Moses Odubajo. So I think for me, at left back, I know he's right-footed, but he was so comfortable on the ball. I remember first seeing Moses when he was at Leyton Orient and he played against us at the home game. And he stood out as a good winger at the time. And then Mark, subsequently saw he could play full-back and done a great job. And for the season he was with us in that championship, he was outstanding. So I'd put it to Moses, really.
He's been so unfortunate with his injuries, but see him back here?
Yeah, really good. Good in the dressing room, nice man, and lots of time. Doesn't get his kit always right. He's always been fine, but apart from that, he's good.
All right, so that's your back four. So the first of your two holding midfielders.
First one, again, when I first came, he was probably, I think we started at the same time at Brentford, that same season, and he played at high level, played at Leeds and Blackburn, and I'd seen him around, and when Uwe signed him, I thought, yeah, that's a really good signing. I didn't know him as a person, but as I got to know him as a person, he's a really nice guy. Doesn't come across as a nice guy sometimes because of his image on the pitch, but for me, Jonathan Douglas is what I'd have him. Dougie was top draw, I think, defending and attack. He was really good. So I'd always have Dougie in there again. No nonsense, talking and tackling guy. So go with Dougie.
There's plenty more players to come, but if you had to pick a skipper for this team, would he be the one potentially?
Yeah, Dougie would be my skipper because he didn't. I mean, having shared a dressing room with him, he would say it as it is. Doesn't matter who it was, If we were good, he would be there saying we were good, and if we were bad, in no uncertain terms, you would know if we were bad. He was very critical of himself as well as the team, and so demanded, good levels, and it brought out the best out of the team in that season. Really did.
Okay, so to partner him at CDM.
For me, I had to go with the big Dave Toumani Diawara.
Okay.
So, Big Dave, you wouldn't know that he was a footballer at times, coming in, but on the pitch, he had great feet. Not the most athletic, but would get there with those big strides. I think I did see him score a goal. I can't remember. Yeah, so Big Dave has got to be along there, sitting holding, and his distribution was very good feet, and good in the dressing room again. But yeah, it had to be Dougie and Toombs.
A big player in that 2014-15 season.
He was, really big player.
Okay, so that's your defensive unit, back four and central midfielders. So first of your attacking three behind the striker.
So my first one, I go wide right. Probably well known to all the fans. Caused a bit of controversy when he moved on. He went away, came back, was gone away again. The Spaniard, Mr. Jota, on his day was unplayable. Saw him destroy many teams at Griffin Park, QPR notably, Derby as well. So play him out on the right, you know what he was always doing, but it's like that, they could never stop him. So Jota, for me, was one of the most attacking three, and in that season was, so good. If we were struggling at times, he could do long range, he could dribble, little tap-ins, So for me, out wide right would be Jota.
Okay, and in the middle, number 10?
Number 10 for me, I didn't really hesitate. When I first saw him play, he was exceptional. He'd come from a Premier League club on loan. Pritch, Alex Pritchard was, arguably one of the best players I've seen, throughout watching football. Not the biggest, but technically superb. Could find a pass, could take a dead ball, always ratting around. He's playing in the Premiership currently. So Pritch was, for me, probably one of the best players I've seen at Brentford since I've been here.
Goal threat behind the striker there.
Oh yeah, would linked up well with the striker, whoever the striker was, and was that link from the midfielder. They were always looking for Pritch, and ideally he was the kind of the link. Not a lot went through him in terms of always driving it to Pritch, because we had such a good attacking 4 or 5 at the time. So yeah, he was key to our success.
On the left of your 3 would be who?
I toyed with this one, but it didn't pivot. I think he really, really showed that season that he was, one of the best players in the league, and he was, shown a lot of his stats, etc., which we look at. Alan Judge, for me, was good. He could play on either flank, sometimes down the middle, and his energy up and down, I know we had a formation, but you could see Judge on the left, the right, in the middle, picking it up, spraying balls, free kicks. Got a couple of headed goals, which is good for the little man. But yeah, for me, Judge, every time he played, he was exciting. He's up there with Jota, really exciting going forward. And it was a shame when he got injured, because he's destined to play at a high level. But yeah, even today, he still excites me when he comes on. But yeah, Judgy.
You mentioned his injury there. Another player like Mo, who's worked really hard to get back, and you can see him.
Yeah, really good. I mean, his injury, it was horrible and upsetting, but it shows the character of Judge. He didn't give up. He came back, and he's almost back to where he was. Again, it's easy to say. These guys are good off the pitch. Just as good as they're on it. So that all counts for the person he is. And he's done really well. So yeah, it wasn't. It could have been Stewie Dallas, but for me, Judgy pipped it purely because of his energy up and down, and some really good goals he got for us.
So to complete your 11, striker.
Well, we could have had Hogan. Again, suffered with some injuries and didn't really get proper playing time. But when he came back, he was really good. I've toyed with Clayton Donaldson. Again, really good. Could play down the middle, could play out wide. So he was. So I toyed with the 3, but the one I went for in the end was just because I had a little affinity with him when we signed him. This is Andre Gray. He came from non-league, and then he went to Luton. Or they might have been non-league at the time, possibly. But when we signed Andre, we went on his first pre-season tour to America. And he had raw power. I mean, real raw power. And we were doing some drills, and Mark Wolverton has this thing called the Gerrard runs, and Andre was struggling. I remember Wolf saying to me, go and run with him. And he started running, and for me, I was beating him in these Gerrard runs, but I was encouraging him. And it was good to see that he stuck at it, and he got better and better and stronger, and he worked after training with the coaches, with David Weir, and worked on everything, and hence he's in the Premiership. And certain games, again, one player that if he on his day, you couldn't play against him because he was so strong, quick, and give him 2 chances, Andre's going to score at least one of them. So Andre had pipped it for me, and again, funny guy off the pitch, funny guy, a lot of jokes with Moses and a lot of others, and was always vocal, if we were bad, if we were good, but just for his pure power and scoring some. I think he's finished top scorer in the league, and obviously moved on to a couple of Premiership clubs now. So it shows that again we find a raw talent and come to Brentford and they go on.
So you mentioned Andre Gray's been good enough to give you a couple of shirts in this room. How long has it taken you to amass this collection?
Well, this is just a small amount of the shirts I've collected over 20 plus years in football. I get to know a lot of the players I work with. Some I haven't worked with, just known through associates and people you get to speak to. You say football currently is one big family, you know, in good and bad times. So a lot of the players here I've managed to immerse. I like to get players that have currently played at Brentford. I've got Jonathan Douglas, Maxime Colin, Andre, had Moses, Pritch. And so I try and get their current club shirts, put it on the wall. And then obviously I've spent some time in the Premiership, met some nice people, Lampard, Terry Rooney, and there's a Yanaris Premiership up there. So yeah, it's just getting to know people, and I just love collecting shirts of players, international shirts, league shirts, all just 20 plus years. So there's a small collection just to brighten up the room. That's all I'm allowed really, because the rest aren't allowed at home.
That's your 11 complete.
That's my 11.
So I'm going to put you on the spot. Gaffer. Who's going to manage them?
I think the two good gaffers I've had here is Dean and Wolves. Again, a lot of the team here was put together by Wolves. And he recognised people's strengths, you know, on and off the pitch. And he put together a good playing staff, a good backroom staff. Dean for his man management, bringing everybody together in, you know, sad times. It was just a shame we didn't work with Mark a lot longer. You know, that's football. They're both on a par, and I couldn't really separate them, so we'd have to have joint managers.
Right, okay.
There's Dean and Mark for me.
Okay, Dean and Mark.
Yeah.
Chuck them on that. And then Silk Chat. And then which can are you?
And that's my Brentford best 11.
Now, I suspect you're going to dodge this question, but imagine this place is going up in flames. You can save one. Which one are you running out the door with?
It's a good question.
Thank you.
If I had to save one, I would probably save, I'd have to say, can I not have one Brentford and one?
Alright, okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. One Brentford, one non-Brentford.
I'd have to say probably Sammy Saunders, because of the relationship I got with Sam. He's a really nice guy. I'm sorry he didn't make my 11. I know he's going to give me some stick for that. But I'd have to say Sammy Saunders and Frank Lampard. Just two genuine, really nice guys.
Yeah.
Just purely for that.